Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user JazzLikeMale1635. Am I the a-hole for giving my pregnant girlfriend an ultimatum? My girlfriend Jen and I have been together for 4 years. Back in April, two great things happened. We found out Jen is pregnant and I closed on a house for us to move into. Our family and friends know about the pregnancy, including Jen's best childhood friend, Amanda. I will admit, I never liked the dynamic between Amanda and Jen, but it did not really affect our relationship since Amanda lived across the country. After finding out about the pregnancy, Amanda decided to move back home. We live in Jen and Amanda's hometown. Amanda has been back since late May and all hell has broke loose. Jen has always felt a little self-conscious in our relationship. I work construction and do personal training. She feels intimidated by small girls, but I have no idea why. She is a sexy as F woman with amazing curves. Amanda has done nothing but played into Jen's insecurities and anxieties since being back. Jen and I have never been the tracking location couple or looking through phones couple. We always considered that a red flag in a relationship. Amanda has convinced Jen that she needs to start doing that. So, she has been looking through my phone on a regular and finding nothing. I have communicated my hurt and frustration and that I think she needs to distance herself from Amanda. She kept rebuffing my concerns. About 2 weeks ago, Jen again asked to look through my phone. I told her in no uncertain terms that this will be the last time she looks through my phone. If she again sees nothing suspicious, then she needs to agree to go to counseling and distance herself from Amanda. She agreed, looked through my phone and found nothing suspicious, but she soon reneged on her promise to do counseling and distancing herself from Amanda. I decided to move out. We are currently on a month-to-month lease in an apartment until renovations get done on the house I bought. I am staying with a friend until the house is ready and then I will move in alone. Jen has asked me to reconsider. I refuse. She will likely need to move in with her mother, which is not ideal given the limited space, which I feel terrible about for my child. Am I the a-hole? Man, OP, I'm so sorry for you. These situations sucks. You did your best giving Jen multiple chances to protect your relationship, to communicate with you, and to address her insecurities. But for some reason, I think she needs to discover working through it. She gives Amanda's opinion more importance than yours. And on top of that, she made a promise to you that she broke. I understand what you were trying to do. You were asking her to set proper boundaries, that it sounded like an ultimatum. Maybe the wording could have been better, but your intent was to save your relationship. But again, she decided to dismiss you in favor of Amanda, and you can't keep carrying this relationship alone. I agree with you. She definitely needs some counseling and reassurance to work through whatever insecurities she has. But the truth we all know is that you can't help someone who doesn't want to get help. And what would happen if nothing changes right now is that resentment is going to build and it's just going to blow up even worse. Moving out isn't abandonment. In this case, it's you setting a strong boundary. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Glinda the Witch says, tell her the counseling is still on the table, but don't live together until you get to a point where she trusts you and ditches her friend. Defeated Husband says, not the a-hole, but what is Amanda's end goal? Is she in love with Jen? Is she entering some type of delusion where they raise the baby together? Regardless, Amanda is super effing toxic. I wouldn't let Jen back into your life as long as Amanda is a part of hers. B Environmental 6299 says, it doesn't make sense that Amanda decided to move home after hearing about Jen's pregnancy. Grown adults, even best friend, don't append their life because their best friend is pregnant. My guess is that something happened with Amanda and now she is back in their hometown and wants Jen to put her first over the boyfriend. And Opie responds, she had a bad breakup about 6 months ago. I do not know all the details. She works remotely and her company's home office is located here, so not much appending she had to do. And there's misery wanting company once again. And Darren Magic 38 says, I would be explaining to your family and hers what this Amanda woman has done and how she's ruining your relationship. Maybe they could get her to agree to counseling or blocking this woman from their homes, not the a-hole. Additional information from OP's comments. Jen has never paid toward housing in the 4 years we've been together. We actually tried to get the mortgage together, but the bank rejected us because of her credit. That's why the mortgage and deed are in my name. It's not that I didn't want her included, but putting her on the deed would open the door for her creditors to come after the house or leave me screwed if we ever broke up and she demanded her portion. As it stands, I'm covering everything. Rent on the apartment she still lives in, utilities, food, her health insurance, co-pays for all prenatal visits, even a cleaning lady twice a week so she doesn't have to do heavy chores. On top of that, I'm renovating the new house with both Jen and my sister in mind. My sister will move in after she graduates. Between the house, apartment, and baby costs, I've been paying for 100% of everything, and I see that as my role to provide. The real breaking point wasn't just Amanda's influence, though that started it. It was how things escalated. Jen went through my phone at least 24 times in the span of 6 weeks. Early on, she'd apologized afterward and would smooth things over, but then she started getting mean and downright disrespectful. I stopped being intimate with her because I didn't feel respected, and she twisted that into proof I must be cheating. At one point, she even admitted she only promised to do counseling so I'd let her search my phone again. That lie hit me hard. I didn't leave because of her insecurities, they've always been there. I left because she lied and refused to take any steps toward fixing the relationship. I still want couples counseling. I still want us to work on this, but she refuses. Since I've moved out, she's treated me noticeably better, calmer, kinder, more relaxed than she was when we lived together. That says a lot. I see my moving out not as abandonment, but as setting a boundary. I'm still at every prenatal appointment, still paying for everything, still talking to her daily. And based on her sending me updates to the birthing plan, I fully expect she wants me there when our child is born. I've also made it clear I have zero intention of fighting her on custody. I want us both equally involved. A lot of people asked why I haven't married her yet. The truth is, I was ready to go down to the courthouse 2 years ago, but Jen wanted a specific kind of wedding and ring that we couldn't afford. That's been the holdup, not me. One thing I probably should have said in my first post is that responsibility isn't new to me. I grew up with 2 addict parents, and by the time I was 18, I had taken in my 3 younger siblings and raised them myself. There were times I went without eating so they could. I got them all through high school and into college. That's the type of man I am. I would starve before letting people I love go hungry. Jen has seen that side of me firsthand, so if she still doesn't trust who I am, I don't know what more I can do. And for anyone suggesting my moving out might cause stress that could risk a miscarriage, I've thought about that too. I've been through a late-term miscarriage before, and I know from doctors that the causes are usually indeterminable. Stress can be a factor, but only when it's extreme. Pregnancy itself is stressful on the body, and Jen herself admitted that living with me was causing her stress. Since I left, she said she feels calmer, and I've seen a night and day difference in how she treats me. I feel at peace knowing that if something tragic were to happen, it wouldn't be because of me. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that Amanda is absolutely toxic. But that OP is still in the right. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Jen and I met up earlier this week to discuss our relationship after she had sent some text messages. She apologized for how she behaved towards me. She particularly apologized for how she behaved when I moved out of the apartment. She said she will definitely stop searching my phone if I move back in. She also said she was ready to get engaged. I asked why she had started searching my phone in the first place, and she said she really did not know. Jen said she had seen me get hit on before by girls in my personal training work and shut the women down, even before we were dating. She trusted that I would do that generally, but she is feeling self-conscious about her body and thinks maybe I would be tempted to not do that now. Apparently, Amanda's ex was a guy who got hit on by girls and would shut them down in front of her, but was secretly cheating with some of them. But I said, if you saw me rejecting these women before we were even dating, why would that change now? Why would I risk my license? She said she did not have an answer. I told her that is why she needs counseling, to explore that. I asked if in the 6 or so weeks of searching my phone at least every other day, if she saw anything from me to any other woman that even hinted at romantic interest. She said no at first, then laughed and commented that I did send a heart emoji to a group chat with Jen to a picture of her mom in a dress she just bought, but she admitted she has no suspicion whatsoever that I am trying to get with her mom. Then why bring it up? She said she is not ready for counseling and is not ready to give up on Amanda, but she is going to move in with her mom in the next few weeks. I let her know that I cannot move back in with her until at least counseling is being started. She understood. I am going to let the landlord know that we are terminating the lease at the end of September. She is sad we are not living together, but understood where I am coming from. She gave me a hug and a kiss, and that was the end of the conversation. She later sent me a text asking if I was okay with her still watching my videos. I had made some videos some months back for her viewing pleasure. I said sure. Her mom later texted me and told me they had a heart-to-heart about Jen and I's relationship. Additional information from OP's comments. First off, about the videos. I really don't care what Jen does with them. When I made them, I knew full well there was always a chance they could end up online someday. That was a risk I accepted. If she wants to keep watching them, that's fine by me. If she ever tried to share them publicly, I'd file charges because nobody should be receiving unsolicited erotica, but personally, it wouldn't rattle me. Honestly, if she sent them to my job, it would probably just turn into more jokes on the construction site. I work with guys who make penis jokes daily. We've got felons on the crew. No one cares as long as you do the work. Even in my personal training business, it wouldn't make a huge difference. To me, if she used the videos to try and get back at me, it would just come off as irrational, not damaging. Second, on custody and child support. Right now, there's nothing enforceable to even discuss because the baby hasn't been born yet. Until I signed the birth certificate or an acknowledgement of paternity, nothing legal can be done on that front. We're at 22 weeks now, so there's still time. When we get to that point, I'll let my lawyer handle it to make sure it. And lastly, on the possibility of reconciliation, I want to be clear. I'm not saying we're getting back together. Right now, we're not. She's still refusing counseling and she still hasn't been willing to create distance from Amanda. Without those things, nothing changes. That said, I'm also not going to pretend there are zero circumstances under which I'd even reconsider. Counseling is a prerequisite. It doesn't guarantee we'll be together again, but it's required for me to even be open to it. Otherwise, there's no point. I can't move out because she refuses counseling and then later, if she finally agreed, turn around and say, well, too bad, I'm not open to that anymore. That wouldn't make sense. So, to sum it up, the videos don't bother me. Custody and support will be handled when the time comes, and reconciliation is only even on the table if she does the work in counseling, which she's not willing to do right now. Well, OP, I have to say, I applaud your consistency and consequence. You need therapy as a base, as a minimum, and until that doesn't happen, there's no talking. Very well done on that point. You drew a boundary and you stuck to it. And I gotta say, when I read that line that she outright said that she wasn't ready for counseling and wasn't ready to give up on Amanda considering how her life is kind of blowing up right now, that's just crazy to me. But, you know, that's what she wants, I guess. So on that note, OP, here's wishing you the best and congratulations on being a dad soon. Sounds like you're gonna be a fair and just dad. So thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Probably Not a Thing Too. Am I the a-hole for telling a coworker to read the room when he pointed out the free pizza while I was eating my own packed lunch? Yesterday at my workplace, there was a group meeting set during the noon. As the meeting was long, my workplace decided to host a free lunch period, basically pizza and other food. This was mentioned beforehand in an email sent to everyone. Due to various personal and family-related reasons, I take my own packed lunch to work. I can't see myself eating both my lunch and the free food provided, so that would be impossible. Plus, I don't want to waste my own lunch. After the first half of the meeting, we had lunch in the room itself. I opened up my own bag while a lot of other people went to get the pizza. After like a few minutes, one coworker whom I've never spoken to before, as I've only started 3 weeks ago, came up to me and said something like, "Hey, there's free pizza if you want it." This is where I got a little annoyed because 1, the pizza boxes were literally across the room. Obviously, they were there. And 2, I was very clearly eating my own lunch, which I thought made it clear that I decided to forgo the free work-provided lunch. So I told him something along the lines of, "No thanks, I have my own lunch, as you can see. That means I'm not going for the free pizza." He said, "Okay," and then left. Later after work, I told my parents about this when they asked me about what we did at work. And they said I was being rude by saying that, saying I could have left it at "no thanks." Granted, I was a bit annoyed, but I thought my simple explanation to my coworker was diplomatic and further clarified what was going on. Was I the a-hole here? Yes, OP, he was just being nice. He was just saying, "Hey, there's pizza if you want it." You could have said, "No thanks, I'm good." But no, apparently he annoyed you so much by simply saying, "Hey, there's free pizza too," that you just had to go with passive aggressiveness to make your point. So yeah, OP, in my opinion, your behavior was that of an a-hole. I don't know if you're an a-hole 100% of the time, but in this case, you definitely were. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Swirly Flurry says, "You're the a-hole. Your coworker did read the room. He just didn't read your mind and you got upset about it." Lizzie says, "I don't know why you felt so annoyed or needed to be rude. I guess you're the a-hole here because your coworker certainly wasn't. 3 weeks in and this is the impression you want to give to someone you're working with?" And Claire L58 says, "You're the a-hole. Yeah, you came in hot and annoyed for no reason. Just say, 'I know, I'm good though,' next time." He probably didn't want you to feel excluded. Maybe he just didn't think you knew you could have some because you're new. There's always awkwardness when it comes to free food given out, and you're the newbie. I don't know if this is like your first adult job or something. Try to get along with your coworkers before you snap at them, especially for no reason. Your work life will be a lot better if you're kind. Are you perhaps neurospicy? It's not a bad thing, of course, but maybe provide some context about this. This situation was pretty innocuous, but it feels blown out of proportion. Very blunt response with no real reason to be annoyed or upset. It wasn't malicious sounding, so try not to assume otherwise. Well, the community agrees that OP was the a-hole and they gave her some hints as to what she should do next time, not be an a-hole. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. After thinking about my behavior toward my coworker and getting feedback from the comments, I realized that I indeed was very much being an ass to my coworker. At the time, I felt he was belittling me, but I realized this is not the case upon retrospect. My response to him was not at all diplomatic. In particular, I should not have said something like, "No thanks, I already have lunch, as you can see," but just saying, "No thanks, I already have lunch," was good enough and the polite version. So, because of this, I made up my mind to apologize to him the next time I found him. Luckily today, I found him randomly in the hallway. I went up to him and said I was sorry for being inadvertently rude to him and that I took full accountability for it, that I was aware that he was making sure I, a new employee, was feeling welcome and I didn't intentionally realize that I came off as incredibly rude. He took it very well and told me, don't apologize for it, and that he understood. Although there was a little hitch where he was a bit surprised when I told him I was a new employee. At the time of the first post, I was only 3 weeks in, so yes, I was a new employee. He said something along the lines of, "Didn't you join in June as the adjunct? I remember that." To which I said, "No, I started here 3 weeks ago and I work in an entirely different position." We eventually figured out it was just a minor mix-up and we both laughed it off. In retrospect, I realize it's possible maybe I wasn't too specific enough about the lunchtime incident and he may have been still thinking about a different event, but I was a bit nervous at the time and didn't think that. In any case, I'm glad I was able to end things on a good note and learning a bit more about what a real diplomatic workplace relationship looks like. Good for you, OP. Not only did you apologize, which is the right thing to do, but you're learning from it. You didn't just do it because somebody bullied you into apologizing or told you to do it. You did it because you understood that you hadn't acted correctly and you wanted to correct it. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.